afternoon. My name is Christina Ennis, and welcome to the 2024 Mineral Resources Review, sponsored by Trajectory Engineering and powered by Gale Force Winds. I have the pleasure of being joined now by Amanda McCallum. Amanda is the new Executive Director with Mining NL. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Awesome. So Amanda is actually the very first woman in this leadership role with Mining NL in its history. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And can we start off, Amanda, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and what's kind of led you to this role?
Sure. Well, thanks for the opportunity to be here. Always exciting. I've been in this role for about 6 months now, actually 6 months as of last week. And it's an exciting time to step into this role. So prior to joining Mining NL, I owned my own consulting company, Ignite Education, that I had for over a decade. Prior to that, I had worked with the provincial government. So I'm a geologist by background, but I also have a background in education.
Awesome.
So I've done a lot of work with communications, public relations, but I tended to be the person who people would hire if they had technical information to make it a little bit more user-friendly, right, to various audiences. So,
cool. Which I can imagine will lend itself very well to the mining sector, given it's.
Yep.
I've learned lots of technical things today, but folks have been great at kind of breaking it down into digestible pieces for myself as a non-mining background person.
Yeah, so I often say I kind of I've been that person that have distilled like a lot of the technical information to a variety of audiences. So whether that might be a company doing work with, social license or ESG initiatives, community engagement, public relations, communications. So it's been a kind of a varied background over the years.
Awesome. Well, I am very much looking forward to seeing Mining NL grow and applying your skill set to that space and adding value for those members. On that note, can you tell us a little bit about Mining NL?
Yeah, so Mining NL, we are the premier voice for the mining and mineral resources sector in Newfoundland and Labrador. So we are at our heart and core of what we do, it's advocacy. So we speak on behalf of industry. We're an industry-driven, membership-driven industry association, and have really been incorporated since 1994.
Cool. Awesome. I'm going to go back to something you mentioned a moment ago about kind of making things more digestible and your background in training, but also your background in government and policy, which that can oftentimes be very difficult for people to wrap their minds around. There's a lot of information. People can't be an expert in everything.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about some of the efforts or initiatives around making mining more understood in the province for folks who are not part of this sector?
Yeah, so in terms of, I should say, first of all, for us as an industry association, we support the entire value chain in the mining cycle.
Right.
So from prospectors to exploration, through to developers, operators, and then as a part of our operators, they deal with mine reclamation. So we support that entire value chain, but in addition, the service and supply sector, who feed into all of those different phases in the cycle. So it's a big sector, it's a big industry.
It is.
And and we're looking to move forward, strategically as we move forward, how can we better enhance services and programs to support industry? So especially to help them as they navigate through the regulatory framework in which they do, social license, and also workforce sustainability. Being aware that with so many emerging projects on the horizon for this province, how can we better support industry with ensuring that they have, a skilled labor force and market to be able to move forward with their projects.
Absolutely. And that piece around social license and workforce, and I guess just the size and scope of the industry, I thought I was well informed about the size of the mining sector in the province.
Yeah.
Until this week. There's so much going on.
There is a lot going on, and I think traditionally, it's very much an industry that's sort of at the foundation of of the province. We are the second largest contributor to provincial GDP at 7.3%. The largest would be oil extraction at 22.8%, and then construction comes in third. So a big revenue generator to the province, contributing not just economically but socially. Most of exploration and mining happens in rural parts of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you look at us as a province in terms of we're about I think 450,000 square kilometers, and we have a population of about 552,000 people. So one of the messages that I've been sharing since stepping into this role is that when you look at the diversity, the geodiversity of this province, from its mineral resource potential, we have 34 of the potential critical minerals that globally, various jurisdictions around the world, Canada, the United States, Japan, Australia, they publish these annual critical minerals lists.
Right.
And if you look at the European list, that has about 50 critical minerals identified. Here in Newfoundland and Labrador, we have occurrences of 34 of those 50 minerals.
That is just amazing.
Which is really quite significant, yeah. So so it's not just what's happening when it comes to the operations. Certainly, if you look to Labrador, obviously over 70 years with Rio Tinto IOC operating. We are a premier iron ore district for the province. High purity iron ore is now on Canada's critical minerals list.
Yes.
But then you look at Vale's Voisey's Bay project, producing nickel, copper, and cobalt, being processed in Long Harbour. I mean, those are very much significant commodities, which really nationally, when you look at the big picture, respectively contribute about a third of Canada's annual iron ore production, as well as nickel, coming from this province. So I think as an industry, it's unknown to some folks, certainly, and undervalued.
Yeah.
It's definitely an undervalued sector. So certainly moving forward with the industry association, the goal is to raise that level of communications. I'm looking to amplify some of our messaging, and so that people are aware of not just the value economically and socially, but on that personal level.
Yes.
Being aware of what's in your stuff and where it comes from.
Absolutely.
Every single thing that we use in our day-to-day lives comes from the extractive resources sector.
Yeah.
It comes from a mined material. So that's not just mineral commodities and metals. You could also think of oil and gas, and so it's the extractive resources sector are very important to the materials that are created from these resources. They not only meet our basic needs, but they enhance our quality of lives.
Absolutely.
And that's a piece that sometimes people don't appreciate.
Gets lost.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It's interesting, having grown up here, I have known there's an iron ore mine, or multiple of them, and nickel. And we hear about it all the time, and I think that just kind of glosses over people at this point because it's part of our everyday lives. We all know, most people in Newfoundland probably know someone who's worked in Voisey's Bay, or has worked in Lab City and Mine, or has worked in Long Harbour, or has some connection to these projects, but nickel isn't everywhere, and iron ore isn't everywhere, and it is here.
It is here. And the province actually several months ago there's a new investment opportunity here in the province. They issued an expression of interest for the Julian Lake deposit, which is an iron ore deposit in Labrador. So again, it's another opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a significant asset that the province holds. And by issuing this expression of interest, they're looking to attract investment to advance this rather significant deposit in Labrador. So I mean that's exciting for us as a province.
Sure.
And then there's other players within the iron ore district, if I can say, in Lab West, looking to advance projects with the Kami project also in development. So it's there's tremendous opportunities here, and I really can't repeat that enough.
Yeah, it's really exciting. The buzz here this week is excellent, and there's folks from all corners. There's service providers. There's people here looking to potentially invest, and I've met people from all over the world at this point. who've come to do just that, figure out how they can participate in our economy here in the province. Do you have any examples of things that people might not necessarily be aware of that minerals are required for that affect our everyday life? We hear about batteries, we hear about electric vehicles. What else is there that people might not be thinking of?
Yeah, I really can't speak about metals and minerals without mentioning copper. Prior to stepping in the role that I'm in, I was involved with copper projects and exploration, and some people might say copper is king. I always say copper is queen. I kind of just.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at electrification, will not occur without copper. So it's a critical mineral, but it's also one of those. It's a base metal, so it's incredibly significant, and we have had copper production here in the province, and looking forward, like from a global picture, big lens, humanity, we will require more copper in the next 25 years than what we've seen used thus far by humanity.
Right.
So, I mean, that's incredibly significant. So if you're talking about decarbonization, electrification, green energy, that really doesn't occur without metals and minerals.
Yeah.
And we will require more metals and minerals than we've ever needed before in order to support that.
Well, it sounds like we are in the right place to learn more about those things. I mean, in Newfoundland and Labrador, it's been super enlightening to learn more about mining NL. And if anybody's interested in learning more, where can they find more information?
Well, you can find us online. We have a website, miningnl.com. We're also accessible on social media channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, I guess, formerly Twitter, and reach out. We're like I said, we are the voice of industry, and we represent the sector and all that, the entire value chain of the mining and mineral resources sector in the province.
Awesome. So before I close, I just want to say thank you, Amanda, for joining me. I am so happy to see a woman at the helm of an organization like this. And again, if anyone's looking for more information about Mining NL, you can check them out on social media and on their website. And is there anything else you'd like to add before we close up?
I think really just to say that the opportunities in this sector are tremendous. And I really should speak to the fact that, we will require a diverse workforce. And I think diversity is a key to some of the workforce sustainability challenges that we might face. And diversity is also, diversity of thought. So we need people coming in and working in the sector who, for somebody like myself, there is this sometimes a perception, mining has some perception and legacy issues that we want to address. We want to be able to discuss and to be able to move forward with projects so that we have the least amount of environmental footprint as possible and responsible mining. And we need people to help us do that. And I think diversity is key to the workforce. So I think that would be my parting message.
That is an excellent parting message, and I think you are absolutely the perfect person to help the mining sector become, so that folks involved in the sector can be champions for the sector too, and help educate other people about how awesome it is around here. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me, and stay tuned for more from the Mineral Resources Review.